Good evening. It's Friday night. Let's call it Friday night church service. Do you like the word church, or are you one of those people that thinks there's something wrong with going to church? We're going to do this on Friday evenings beginning tonight. I'm going to come and talk to you about some current events, and we're going to highlight the wickedness that we are observing in the real time during these last days. I'm going to go over some videos, rewatch some videos tonight, and my main purpose is to read the comments to you. Okay, so hope the videos play okay. And then I'm going to read the comments. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll give you this week's message to take home with you. Okay, there was no narration for that one, so let me tell you what you were watching, and then we'll read the comments. This comes from USA Today, Fair Use, and this is a man that was detained by ICE because they were looking for him. There happened to be a little girl in the car seat, as you see right there, and the text did say that she was, then the ICE drove off with the little girl in the car. It did say at the very end that the girl was reunited with her mother. So this is not the worst thing I've ever seen. Let's see what the comments say. Sickening. Where did they take the 3-year-old girl and why? Illegally kidnapping a 3-year-old girl needs to be investigated, and the child needs to be physically checked for possible assault. She had a bruise on her cheek when grandma picked her up. Are people not reading the first part of the post or the title? I'm not sure what that means. You read it. ICE will have a visit from Karma. I hope it's soon. I want someone to justify how this is okay, and I don't want to hear he should have not been illegal. Let's read some replies for that. What do you want law enforcement officers to do with someone with outstanding warrants who then gets out of the car with a hammer and throws rocks at them? Okay. Well, illegal is illegal. He chose unwisely. And the next comment, and you expect just to take your word on this? No, we need to see them united. So I guess that was a comment about the child going back to their mother. So this seems to be at least a handful of comments. There's 54 comments. I'm not going to read anywhere near that many. First handful I chose to read seemed balanced enough. Let's go on to the next video. This is a video from ABC News Live, fair usage. This says Minneapolis family says ICE agents threw tear gas. Baby temporarily stopped breathing. 7 minutes long. We'll see if we can watch the whole thing.
In tonight's deep dive, we're focusing on ICE enforcement in Minneapolis and one family's experience that's getting national attention. Sean and Destiny Jackson say they and their 6 kids were on their way home from their oldest son's basketball game last week when they got caught between federal agents and protesters. They say after ICE agents told them to leave, tear gas was thrown under their car, detonating the airbags and trapping their family inside, including their 6-month-old baby, as black smoke filled the car, obstructing their vision and their ability to breathe. As a result, Destiny says her baby temporarily stopped breathing and she had to perform CPR before the family went to the hospital. Destiny and her husband Sean are here to share more of their story. So Destiny and Sean, thank you both so much for making the time. First of all, can you just walk us through what happened to you last week? What's really sticking with you emotionally still?
Well, as you guys know, have seen last week, we were on our way home from our son's basketball game. We stopped at our local grocery store to grab some food for dinner on the way home. Just the normal way that we go home. We were going up the hill, and when we got to the top of the hill, there was yellow tape everywhere, and basically like nowhere drive. We bust a right and kind of had to pull over to let cars that were already coming up the street through. And in the process of that, kind of just asked like what was going on. We thought maybe like in our side of the neighborhood, most of the time it's like stuff like that is like killing or homicide, And so we were alerted that, ICE was doing their little thing. They had shot somebody. I had seen my mom out there, and I didn't want her to be out there due to like her heart condition and stuff like that. And when it was time, when we were about to leave to go home, everything just took a turn for the worse.
And you said your baby stopped breathing for a period of time earlier. I mean, that moment must still be with you.
That moment is still with me. I mean, like the biggest moment that's with me, that is something, but it was just like being trapped in the car. Like when our airbags deployed, we got our car went into an anti-lock system and all of our doors locked. There was no, I can remember trying to kick windows, and I slowly began to like just feel for everybody's door, and I started unlocking doors. Once we were out of the car, I was screaming for I told them I still have kids in the car. People were pulling me in the house. And I'm like, no, I have babies in the car. And my infant was the last one to enter in the house that we were pulled into. And he was like lifeless. Like, I mean, it was horrible.
Have you and your family fully processed what exactly happened, and how are your kids doing?
We have not fully processed. I mean, it's been nothing but sleepless nights, honestly. We're like up every hour, 45 minutes to an hour, like checking cameras outside of the house, just being scared, like scared that they might just come and retaliate and come to the house just because we are telling our story of what happened. My kids have so many questions about what happened. They're asking about like, are we going to get a new car? And they're saying things like, well, we need an armored car, or we need a bulletproof car, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's sticking with them.
And Sean, when you were trapped in the car and the ICE agents had surrounded the car, I mean, what were you thinking in that moment about what you could do?
I couldn't do anything. It's like, we seen what happened with Renee, and it's like, I wasn't gonna let that happen to me. So it's like, I couldn't do anything.
We couldn't pull off at that moment. We didn't want to pull off because we didn't want that to happen, but we definitely weren't aware that what happened was going to happen.
And the Department of Homeland Security responded to our reporting about your incident, and DHS wrote in a social media post that has now been deleted that it is horrific to see radical agitators bring children to their violent riots. Please stop endangering your children. What's your reaction to that message?
I'm pretty sure they deleted that because they know that we weren't there protesting. There was a narrative. I was there. We were trying to get home, and then my mom was there, and we seen her there, and we wanted her to get home. And in the process, I mean, people have seen videos in the process. You guys may see us out there, but you can see me standing by my mom. You could see my husband standing by my mom. We wanted her to go home, and we've never protested. Nobody has ever known us to protest, so we weren't just bringing our kids to protest. We were just trying to go home.
How have you explained what happened to your children?
I I don't even know how to explain what happened to us or my children. And like, like it was horrific. And like people, they say mean things, but at the end of the day, like we know what happened and nobody has had to live through or is living through what happened. And it's very like, that was a very traumatic event for us. And, and it's even more traumatizing for the things that people are saying all over social media and online and stuff.
You mentioned sleepless nights. Sean and Destiny, do you feel safe stepping outside of your home right now? Do you feel safe having your kids going outside in the neighborhood?
No. We don't even feel safe sleeping in our own house.
Could you ever imagine something like this happening in your own neighborhood in Minnesota?
I mean, like, no. I mean, like, they hadn't even been, like, I guess we had not, like, we work, we live over north, we work over north, like, we haven't seen ICE agents this way. So to have seen that was, like, crazy. And then to have lived that was even crazier. Like, now it's just like, oh, it's real. Like, this is really happening. And now it has happened to us. And it's just like, no, I don't feel safe. Nobody's safe.
And you were, to your point, you were coming home from your son's game. You were not involved in these protests in any way. What is your message to anybody in Minnesota who might find themselves in a similar situation?
Just to, like, I don't know, like, have an exit plan, how to get around it. I mean, like, I stopped just for a couple of minutes
Beautiful
just
baby.
to do a good deed, and it's just like it didn't end well for me. So I'm just like, just be
Beautiful
aware
family.
of your surroundings and watch their body language.
Destiny and Sean Jackson, thank you both for coming on our show and sharing your story.
I didn't mean to talk over her. I think she said something like, watch your surroundings and watch your body language, something like that. Beautiful family, beautiful babies. I'm going to read a handful of these comments and see what people are saying. Also, where is the Midas retraction of this BS? Breaking news from Crime Watch MPLS. The parents were participating in the riot and left the 6-month-old in the car. Photographs prove it. Cheats and liars. How does ABC post this without checking? What a joke. They have already determined this was a lie. They took the kids out to protest, take the kids away, take all welfare benefits away, and put the parents in jail. Let's see what the reply is to that bot. Okay, how many times has their story changed now? And by on their way home from a basketball game, they mean they were filmed 45 minutes protesting, leaving their kids in the car. They lied to the media and said they did not participate in the protest. Tear gas does not cause airbags to detonate. Those people are liars. Well, we're on a roll. Liars, it's a GoFundMe scam. Yep, caught on camera protesting and left kid in car where is Child Protection Services. Now that sounds pretty harsh and very much against this story. My first, I'm going to have to be objective and say, let's see if the accusations of them lying come to pass, but I don't think they look like people that were protesting with all of those children in the car. I really don't. So they're not too supportive underneath this video. Okay, let's go on to the next one. And let's see. This is fallout after ICE agents detain 5-year-old boy. Vance responds after image shows 5-year-old boy detained by ICE. This is a short one. You may have heard about this.
The haunting images sparking a firestorm. A preschool boy standing in the Minnesota cold, swept up in the ICE crackdown. School officials say 5-year-old Liam and his father, Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, had just pulled into their suburban Minneapolis driveway Tuesday when agents took that father into custody. The school then saying an agent, quote, essentially used the 5-year-old as bait, directing him to see if anyone else was home before taking the boy away. Witnesses say multiple people, including the boy's mother, offered to take him.
There was another adult who lived in the home that was there saying, I will take the child, I will take the child.
But DHS telling a very different story, saying, quote, ICE did not target a child, claiming Liam's father is an undocumented immigrant who fled on foot, quote, abandoning his son in the driveway. During a visit here in Minneapolis Thursday, Vice President J.D. Vance saying the agents were protecting the child.
Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death?
The family's attorney insisting father and son entered the United States legally.
Liam and his dad did enter the United States at a port of entry to seek asylum. They've shared all of their information with the government, and they were following the process.
Now, the school district says 4 students have recently been detained. We now know that Liam and his father are both being held together at a processing facility outside of San Antonio. Protests and a march are scheduled for later today here in Minneapolis, but wind chills near negative 50 degrees right now. It remains to be seen, Deborah, how many people will actually show up.
Okay, let's read the comments under this one. That was a very cute 5-year-old kid. That kid had some of the worst parents, which is sad as hell, honestly. Blame his father, not ICE. He should be charged with now child negligence. That poor baby. Someone needs to be arrested for child abuse. Let's see what the response is. For what? Child abuse. The father ran away and left the child. Who does that? It's like as if the man knew that the child would be safe with ICE. Guess they aren't the Gestapo after all. Be cautious of what the left media influences and left-wing media posts. It's meant to trigger you, and most of the time, the photos are misleading or taken out of context. I just seen a photo this morning where a left-wing influencer screams and cries because ICE arrested a child. Turns out it was a very short woman, and it wasn't even ICE. It was the sheriff, and the woman was released. The mainstream media keeps pushing themselves into irrelevance by pushing fake news. Dangerous 5-year-olds next on Oprah. What the heck? The lies are just crazy now. Vance is plowing sectionals. It cares for no one other than itself. I hope he's charged with child abandonment. Where's the boy's cam video? Where's the content? Oh, there is none. Gotcha. Okay, this seems to be as skeptical as the last one. The first video, and I've deleted it from my browser, unfortunately. That was silly of me. I won't do that next time. The first video, the comments seemed to be more empathetic, and that was the one. The comments seemed to be more empathetic for the illegal immigrant, and I actually was more objective. And these two, the two we've just seen, I'm really seeing some biases against the victims and for ICE. So it's interesting. Okay, well, to each his own. And the last video is the one that made me want to do this presentation tonight. This one right here. Let's watch it.
Is he seizing? I think is he seizing?
Video obtained by CNN shows a man apparently having a medical episode during an immigration and customs enforcement arrest. The incident happened when ICE officers were detaining a woman identified by the Department of Homeland Security as Juliana Malena Ojeda Montoya. The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement she's an undocumented immigrant from Ecuador who in August allegedly, quote, repeatedly stabbed her co-worker with scissors and then threw a trash can at her victim. She was in an SUV with her husband, Carlos Sebastian Zapata, and their daughter when ICE stopped them. Zapata told the Boston Globe that he, quote, lost consciousness while clinging to his wife as federal agents tried to pull her out of the SUV. In the video, agents can be seen tapping Zapata's face as if to get him to regain consciousness, then putting him in a headlock as they pull him out of the SUV. Zapata told CNN affiliate WCVB he believes an agent used a stun glove on him that caused him to have a seizure. Zapata told the Globe the couple have pending asylum cases and valid work authorizations. He said they crossed unlawfully into the US a few years ago and later turned themselves into immigration authorities and applied for asylum. DHS said medical personnel found, quote, no legitimate medical emergency, and Zapata was allowed to leave with his child.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Is he seizing? I think is he seizing?
Video obtained.
Okay, so this video, I'm not going to say it's a horrible video. I was looking for the one from a different angle. Believe there's a small infant in the front of the car in between his two parents, and the child is, oh God, this happened a few weeks ago, and this tore me up. Let's read the comments. 2 months ago. Oh my God, 2 months ago. So we are supposed to believe she stabbed someone with scissors and has just been free to hang out for 3 months. She would have been arrested on the spot by local police, not free to walk around, then caught by ICE. Okay, let's read the comments. Allegedly, this has not been proven. Who knows? The other lady might be crazy and started a fight and made up the story. The police confirmed, and her own husband confirmed she did. Oh, I wanted to see more comments. I agree with you. Every time they say somebody did something, it gets crazier and wilder. Your willful ignorance is something of beauty. They love lying at this point and think when people hear criminal, people will hopefully believe it more. DHS at this point has been called altering videos and making up lies about hit jobs, and they don't care. Legal or not, this guy would have been in jail and not let out on a bond or promised to appear in this state. The same ICE administration had a guy who had heart problems but said he was lying. Then later they said same guy died in ICE detention of a heart attack, and the family showed the guy had health reports of heart problems. ICE needs to be sued and arrest every single one for lying. Why don't you show them the part when ICE was pulling on their baby? Why did you cut that part out when the agents was pushing his thumb into the side of the man's neck? ICE is going beyond all the limits. They hurt innocents. I'm not medically trained, and obviously neither are these agents, but I don't think you're supposed to headlock someone who's having a seizure. Okay. Okie dokie. So those comments seem to be empathetic towards the people that are being abused. And that's where I want to pick up. Empathy versus apathy and bias against people who you see being abused, and advocating for a policy that is cruel. When ICE started, and I guess, what was that, 3 months ago, 2 months ago? It's probably happened 5 years ago, 12 years ago. This latest rendition of brutality against immigrant families and people of color, care of Donald Trump and his administration. This is his second one. Let's call it 2.0. It's definitely even worse than the first one. And when ICE starts to abuse the children, that is the time for all real Christians, not good Christians, but real Christians, okay? Because a person that believes in Jesus Christ as that magnanimous king is represented in the New Testament, the gospel. He's actually introduced in the Old Testament, but I'm here to talk about the Jesus we read about in the New Testament. Of course, he would not sign off on this. Okay, so what part of this crime spree done by ICE is going to get your attention to say, abolish ICE, reform ICE? When you go after children, the policies have not been thoroughly investigated, prioritized. Have you heard abolish and reform before? That was for the police, and we did not sign off on that. So now we have a group of people that are even worse than your average police officer. And look at what they're getting away with. So Moral of the story, tonight's sermon, church. The Trump administration is criminal. It is PDF sympathizing. It is woman hating. It is not Christian. Did I say it is criminal? It is the opposite of magnanimous. And everybody that thinks that's what's happening to these victims of ICE detainment is in the best interest of America, you're wrong. Because many of us know wickedness when we see it. And the Civil War, the second one, and I believe it has commenced, it's not going to be about race. No, it's going to be about the wicked versus the righteous. Because the wicked's actions, their behaviors, their job descriptions, it's so obvious to us that they're not acting like human beings. They're acting like demon-possessed monsters. Is that too hard of a critique? Well, let me give you a brief example of how you can change the way these so-called illegals are pursued. They've been in the country 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years. You know what they have done. You know what they have not done. Never go after someone who is what they child. Use your resources and all that good FBI and federal money to find out who it is you're looking for. Stalk him. Use facial recognition and get him later. He's not going to carry that kid around him everywhere. Get your priorities together. Get your priorities together. I'm praying that ICE is abolished or reformed as expeditiously as possible. And I'm going to throw you one. You think I'm a woke lefty that wants illegal aliens to come here and take all the jobs from Black people? No, I actually want everybody that is here illegally, everybody that is here and believes ICE is looking for them, everyone who is here and does not have the paperwork to be here, everyone who is afraid of being deported because you're deportable, I want you to go back to where you came from as expeditiously as possible. Absolutely. I want you to self-deport so that when we abolish and reform ICE, the demons won't be as upset because they'll know that the numbers are decreasing. Okay? I don't want anybody to get hurt. But to call yourself a Christian or a good person and debate if a child is collateral damage or should be abused, assaulted, harmed during an ICE detainment, I think you're a little bit confused. Hands off the children. Hands off the children. There's no excuse for that. So the high IQ people, they are going to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to get these illegals without hurting the babies. You hear me? Leave the babies alone. They're just walking home. Leave the babies alone. When you see somebody you're looking for that hasn't just committed a crime, somebody's been in America, somebody who's been in the U.S. for a very long time, give them 1 or 2 more weeks and catch them when there's no children around. Okay? All right. Good night.